Welcome everyone, and thank you for joining us today. I'm excited to introduce our presentation titled The Lost Word of Masonry, Discovering the Key to Immortality. Underneath that, we'll explore the mysticism of Masonry. I'm your host from the Masonic Audiobook Library, and today we'll be unlocking some of the secrets behind eternal life through the fascinating world of Masonry. Over the course of this presentation, we'll delve into hidden knowledge, symbolic mysteries, and the timeless quest for immortality that has captivated initiates for centuries. So, let's begin this intriguing journey together. Let's take a quick look at the contents of today's presentation. We'll start with an introduction to Masonry, exploring its foundational principles and significance. Then, we'll delve into the mysticism of Masonry, uncovering its spiritual and symbolic depths. Next, we'll discuss the concept of the key to immortality, which ties into the deeper meanings behind Masonic teachings. Moving on, we'll examine Masonic theology, understanding its beliefs and philosophical outlooks. We'll also look at some historical figures who played important roles in shaping Masonry over time. Then, we'll consider modern Masonry and how it functions today. After that, we'll explore practical applications of Masonic teachings in everyday life, showing their relevance. Finally, we'll wrap up with a conclusion that ties everything together and reflects on the overall impact of Masonry. This outline is designed to give us a clear roadmap of the journey we're about to undertake. Now, let's take a look at the contents of this presentation. We'll start with an introduction to Masonry, exploring its origins and foundational principles. Then, we'll delve into the mysticism of Masonry, uncovering the spiritual and symbolic aspects that make it so intriguing. Next, we'll examine the key to immortality, which refers to the lasting legacy and moral teachings that Masonry offers. Moving forward, we'll discuss Masonic theology, understanding the philosophical and spiritual beliefs that underpin the craft. We'll also highlight some notable historical figures in Masonry, showing its influence throughout history. Then, we'll look at modern Masonry, considering how these ancient traditions adapt to today's world. After that, we'll explore the practical applications of Masonic teachings in everyday life, emphasizing their relevance. Finally, we'll wrap up with a conclusion, tying everything together and reflecting on the overall significance of Masonry. This structure helps us see how each part builds on the last, revealing the depth and enduring nature of this ancient fraternity. Understanding Freemasonry is really about tracing its roots back to the medieval stonemason guilds. Over time, these guilds evolved into a broader fraternal organization that carries on esoteric traditions and philosophical teachings. What's central to Masonry is the emphasis on brotherhood, moral integrity, and confidentiality. It's about a pursuit of knowledge, but also about recognizing a supreme being, which many members believe is fundamental to personal and spiritual growth. The organization itself is quite structured. Local lodges operate under regional grand lodges, creating a hierarchical system. This structure helps foster unity among members and ensures that traditions are preserved. So, when we look at Freemasonry, it's not just about the individual member. It's about a structured community committed to shared values and ongoing development. This all ties into the larger theme of how organizations can promote personal growth within a framework of long-standing tradition. The lost word concept is a fascinating aspect of Masonry that symbolizes the pursuit of ultimate truth and enlightenment. It represents the lifelong quest for knowledge and the desire for immortality through spiritual and philosophical exploration within our traditions. When we talk about the definition and significance of the lost word, we're really emphasizing how allegorical interpretations highlight its deep symbolic meaning. It stands for inner truth and enlightenment, which are considered essential for achieving a form of spiritual immortality in Masonry. Now, the search for the lost word is not just about finding a literal word, but about seeking a higher understanding and deeper knowledge. It embodies the eternal pursuit of truth, the mysteries of existence that we, as Masons, are always striving to uncover. This quest reflects our commitment to continuous growth, enlightenment, and the search for meaning beyond the material world. Connecting all of these ideas to our overall theme, the lost word reminds us that our journey in Masonry is ultimately about seeking that profound truth that elevates our spirit and brings us closer to the divine. Now, let's move on to the next part of our journey, practical applications of Masonic teachings. Here, we'll explore how the principles and values we've discussed translate into everyday life. This section is especially important because it shows how Masonry isn't just about symbols or history, but about making a real difference. We'll look at ways members apply lessons like integrity, charity, and self-improvement in their personal and professional lives. These applications help reinforce the idea that Masonry is a living, breathing philosophy that guides us beyond the lodge. Connecting these teachings to practical actions demonstrates their relevance and enduring power. So, as we go through this, keep in mind how these principles can inspire us all to lead more meaningful and ethical lives. Let's take a closer look at symbols and their meanings in Masonry. Common Masonic symbols include the square and compasses, which represent moral guidance and the importance of virtue. Then there's the all-seeing eye, a symbol of divine watchfulness, reminding us that a higher power observes our actions. And the ashlar, which signifies the process of self-improvement and refining oneself through continuous effort. Moving on to the symbolic interpretation of the lost word, this concept is deeply significant. It stands for enlightenment, inner truth, and spiritual awakening, symbolizing a quest for knowledge that goes beyond the physical world. Ultimately, it's about seeking something eternal, something that leads to immortality. Now, how do symbols function within Masonic practice? They are more than just images. They are vital tools for teaching moral lessons and fostering a deeper understanding of our spiritual journey. Symbols help connect us to the esoteric and mystical dimensions of Masonry, guiding us along the path of self-discovery and enlightenment. So, in essence, these symbols are central to how we learn, grow, and connect with the profound truths that Masonry seeks to unveil. Let's talk about rituals and ceremonies in Masonry. These rituals are more than just formalities. They are powerful, transformative ceremonies that carry deep allegorical lessons. Through these rituals, members are guided toward self-discovery, moral growth, and a pursuit of spiritual truths, all within a mystical framework that connects us to something greater. Now, a key concept within these rituals is the lost word. This symbolizes divine truth and knowledge, something that we seek, and that serves as a focal point during our ceremonies. The lost word represents the ultimate truth that, once found, initiates a profound transformation and elevates the seeker towards spiritual immortality. Finally, these ceremonies aren't just symbolic, they are transformative experiences. They help individuals connect deeply with spiritual truths, fostering personal growth. And because they are shared experiences, they create a sense of immortality, an enduring bond among members and with the divine, all rooted in sacred symbolism. So, in essence, these rituals serve as a bridge, guiding us on a journey of enlightenment, moral development, and spiritual elevation. Now, let's take a closer look at the contents of this presentation. We start with an introduction to Masonry, exploring its foundational principles and what it truly represents. Then, we'll delve into the mysticism of Masonry, uncovering the spiritual and symbolic aspects that make it so intriguing. Moving on, we'll discuss the key to immortality, which relates to the eternal nature of the teachings and their impact beyond this life. Next, we'll examine Masonic theology, understanding the religious and philosophical beliefs that underpin the fraternity. We'll also highlight some historical figures in Masonry, whose contributions and stories have shaped its evolution. Then, we'll look at modern Masonry, seeing how these ancient traditions are practiced today. After that, we'll explore the practical applications of Masonic teachings in everyday life, illustrating how these principles can guide us. Finally, we'll wrap up with a conclusion that ties everything together, emphasizing the enduring relevance of Masonry and its teachings. Each of these sections builds on the previous ones, helping us see the bigger picture of what Masonry truly stands for. Let's delve into the philosophy of immortality in Masonry. At its core, Masonry emphasizes the idea that the soul is eternal. This belief encourages us to focus on personal growth, moral integrity, and the existence of an afterlife, where the soul moves beyond earthly limitations and achieves what we call true immortality. It's about understanding that our essence endures beyond our physical life. Moving on, another key point is that immortality in Masonry isn't just about the afterlife, but also about the pursuit of knowledge. Masonry teaches us that through continuous learning and the search for truth, we create a form of everlasting influence. Knowledge and wisdom are seen as eternal, transcending physical existence and leaving a lasting legacy. Finally, the idea of legacy and influence highlights how Masonry promotes enduring values and shared knowledge. Our ethical conduct and spiritual growth contribute to a collective understanding of immortality, one that's rooted in community, shared purpose, and moral development. Ultimately, Masonry guides us toward a deeper, more meaningful understanding of what it means to be truly immortal, not just as individuals, but within a larger spiritual and communal context. Let's explore some key practices for achieving immortality within our Masonic journey. First, personal development and self-reflection are vital. By taking the time to look inward, we gain a deeper understanding of ourselves, which in turn fosters spiritual growth. This self-awareness aligns with the mystical teachings of Masonry, guiding us along the path toward immortality. Next, community service and brotherhood play an essential role. Building meaningful connections with others not only enhances our personal growth, but also brings a sense of spiritual fulfillment. These bonds are fundamental in the Masonic tradition, as they support our collective pursuit of a higher purpose. Finally, the pursuit of truth and wisdom is a lifelong quest. Constantly seeking knowledge fuels our enlightenment and encourages personal transformation. It's through this ongoing dedication to learning that we move closer to spiritual immortality. When we combine these practices, self-reflection, brotherhood, and the relentless pursuit of truth, we align ourselves more closely with the overarching goal of Masonry, achieving a form of eternal spiritual significance. Let's take a moment to look at the contents of this presentation. We'll start with an introduction to Masonry, exploring its origins and core principles. Then, we'll delve into the mysticism of Masonry, uncovering the spiritual and symbolic aspects that make it unique. Next, we'll discuss the key to immortality, which ties into the timeless nature of Masonic teachings and their pursuit of eternal truths. After that, we'll examine Masonic theology, understanding how belief systems and moral philosophies are integrated into the craft. We'll also look at historical figures in Masonry, highlighting influential individuals who shaped its development. Moving forward, we'll consider modern Masonry and how it has evolved in today's world. Then, we'll explore the practical applications of Masonic teachings, seeing how these principles can be applied in everyday life. Finally, we'll wrap up with a conclusion that ties everything together, emphasizing the overarching themes of knowledge, spirituality, and personal growth that run throughout this journey. Let's explore the concept of the divine in Freemasonry. At the heart of our teachings is the idea of the great architect. This symbolizes the ultimate reality and the celestial order that guides us. It's not just a metaphor, but a representation of a higher power that leads us towards spiritual enlightenment. Faith and spirituality play crucial roles in our journey. They serve as pathways to understanding the divine, helping us grow personally and connect with a universal truth that goes beyond the material world. Through these, we seek a deeper comprehension of the divine nature. Furthermore, Masonic theology emphasizes the profound interconnectedness between God and mankind. We see our pursuit of knowledge and virtue as a way to reach divine understanding. This path also points us toward the idea of immortality, that by living virtuously and seeking truth, we partake in something eternal. Overall, these concepts remind us that our spiritual journey is central to Freemasonry. They guide us to see the divine not just as a distant entity, but as something we engage with actively through faith, virtue, and the pursuit of wisdom. Let's explore the nature of reality. First, we see the contrast between material and spiritual existence. Material existence is limited by time and space. It's the physical world we experience daily. But spiritual existence goes beyond these limitations. It transcends the physical and points us toward a higher understanding. The key idea here is that through inner enlightenment and unity, we can find the path to immortality. Next, we focus on the search for universal truth. Masonic theology teaches us that there's a deeper, interconnected truth underlying all of existence. By seeking this universal truth, we begin to see how everything is connected, how every part of the universe reflects a greater divine cosmos. This pursuit guides us toward enlightenment, helping us unlock the mysteries of our existence. Finally, we consider the role of the individual in the universe. Our spiritual journey isn't just about personal growth, it's also a reflection of universal truths. Each of us has a role in this cosmic puzzle, and our quest for understanding and enlightenment connects us to a greater purpose. Ultimately, this path aims at achieving a form of immortality, not just in a physical sense, but through spiritual awakening and harmony with the universe. All of these ideas tie back to the larger theme, our journey to understand ourselves, the universe, and the divine, guiding us toward eternal truth and enlightenment. Now, let's take a quick look at what we've covered in this presentation. We've started with an introduction to Masonry, setting the stage for understanding its core principles. Then, we delved into the mysticism of Masonry, exploring its spiritual and symbolic aspects that have fascinated members for centuries. Next, we discussed the key to immortality, highlighting the idea that Masonry seeks to inspire a form of everlasting influence through virtue and knowledge. We also examined Masonic theology, which provides a philosophical foundation rooted in moral teachings and spiritual growth. Moving forward, we looked at some significant historical figures in Masonry, illustrating how their contributions have shaped the fraternity. Then, we considered modern Masonry and how it adapts to contemporary society while maintaining its traditions. We also explored practical applications of Masonic teachings, showing how these principles can positively impact everyday life. And finally, we wrapped up with our conclusion, tying together all these elements and emphasizing the enduring relevance of Masonry today. Throughout this journey, we've seen how Masonry is not just a historical or secret society, but a living tradition that encourages personal development and moral integrity. Let's take a closer look at some of the most influential Freemasons throughout history. The founding fathers of Freemasonry, like George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, played a crucial role in shaping the core values of the organization. They emphasized principles such as liberty, fraternity, and the ongoing quest for enlightenment, which have had a profound impact on modern society. These values continue to resonate today and highlight how Freemasonry has contributed to the development of democratic ideals and personal growth. Moving on, we see Masonic philosophers and thinkers like Albert Pike and Manly P. Hall. These individuals focused on the deep connection between spirituality and morality. They believed that enlightenment comes through the pursuit of knowledge and truth, core aspects of Masonry. Their teachings encourage us to seek understanding beyond the surface and to integrate moral integrity with spiritual insight, reinforcing the idea that true enlightenment involves both mind and heart. Finally, we have modern leaders such as Franklin D. Roosevelt and Winston Churchill. These figures exemplified Masonic principles like service, integrity, and dedication to the greater good. Their leadership helped shape societal values and also enhanced the global perception of Freemasonry as an organization committed to moral uprightness and community service. All these examples illustrate how Freemasonry's influence spans from foundational ideals to contemporary leadership, connecting deeply with the overarching theme of moral and intellectual development. Let's explore the legacy of Masonic contributions and how they have shaped society over time. Throughout history, many notable figures in Masonry, such as George Washington and Benjamin Franklin, have exemplified leadership and a deep sense of civic responsibility. These individuals contributed to societal progress through efforts in education, philanthropy, and community service, demonstrating how Masonic values can inspire positive change. Moving on, Masons have also had a significant influence on art and science. Think of figures like Sir Isaac Newton and Leonardo da Vinci, both of whom were deeply engaged with Masonic principles. Their work intertwined these ideals with their creative and intellectual pursuits, leading to advancements that have profoundly shaped our understanding of the world around us. Finally, Masonic involvement in key historical events cannot be overstated. Masonic figures played pivotal roles in moments like the American and French Revolutions and the broader Age of Enlightenment. They championed ideals of liberty, equality, and fraternity, which continue to influence the principles of freedom and human rights we value today. All of these contributions highlight how Masonry has been a force for progress across different areas: society, art, science, and history, aligning with our overarching theme of shaping a better future through timeless values. Now, let's take a quick look at the contents of today's presentation. We'll start with an introduction to Masonry itself, laying the foundation for understanding its core principles. Then, we'll explore the mysticism of Masonry, which uncovers the spiritual and esoteric aspects that make it unique. Moving forward, we'll discuss the key to immortality, a concept that highlights the pursuit of eternal truths and lasting influence. Next, we'll delve into Masonic theology, examining the spiritual beliefs and moral philosophies that guide Masons. We'll also look at historical figures in Masonry to see how influential personalities have shaped its development. Then, we'll consider modern Masonry, understanding how the fraternity has evolved and adapted over time. After that, we'll discuss the practical applications of Masonic teachings, showing how these principles can be applied in everyday life. Finally, we will wrap up with a conclusion, tying everything together and reflecting on the overarching themes of the presentation. Throughout, I encourage you to think about how these elements connect and what they reveal about the enduring nature of Masonry. Let's explore how Masonic practices have evolved over time. Modern Masonry has become more inclusive, reflecting broader societal changes. Today's fraternity values diversity in membership, welcoming individuals from various backgrounds and perspectives, which enriches our shared experience. Technology has also played a significant role in this evolution. It has transformed how we conduct rituals and communicate, enabling virtual gatherings and making it easier to preserve and share our historical traditions. This blend of tradition and innovation keeps Masonry relevant and engaging for today's members. However, we also face some challenges. Membership numbers are declining in some areas, which raises questions about our relevance in modern society. We need to find ways to adapt our traditions thoughtfully, ensuring we stay true to our core values while remaining accessible and meaningful in a changing world. All of these aspects, embracing diversity, leveraging technology, and addressing contemporary challenges, are essential to the ongoing evolution of Freemasonry and its role in society today. As we look to the future of Freemasonry, it's essential that we embrace modern values to stay relevant and appealing. This means actively engaging with our communities, using digital platforms to connect and communicate, and promoting education to attract new members while also supporting those already involved. Revitalizing interest in Masonry really hinges on the vital role of young Masons. They bring fresh ideas and energy, which are crucial for the fraternity's growth. At the same time, it's important that they respect and preserve our traditions. This balance ensures that Freemasonry can adapt to the modern world while maintaining its core principles. When we talk about the role of young Masons, we see that they are the bridge to the future. They help keep our organization dynamic and relevant by infusing new perspectives. Their involvement is key to ensuring that Freemasonry continues to thrive and evolve alongside society. Looking at the global perspective, modern Masonry is becoming more diverse than ever. This diversity fosters unity and understanding across different cultures. It helps us promote ethical values and personal growth on a broader scale, making sure that Freemasonry remains meaningful and relevant in an ever-changing world. All of these elements, modern values, young leadership, and global diversity, are interconnected. They form the foundation for a vibrant future where Freemasonry continues to serve as a force for good, adaptation, and growth in society. Now, let's take a closer look at the contents of this presentation. We begin with an introduction to Masonry, where we explore its foundational principles and core values. Moving on to the mysticism of Masonry, we delve into the spiritual and esoteric aspects that give the craft its depth and mystery. The Key to Immortality discusses how Masonic teachings aim to inspire a sense of eternal life through moral and spiritual development. Next, we examine Masonic theology, which highlights the religious and philosophical beliefs that underpin the fraternity. In the segment on historical figures in Masonry, we look at influential individuals who shaped the movement and its legacy. Modern Masonry then shows us how these ancient principles are applied today, adapting to contemporary contexts while maintaining their essence. Practical applications of Masonic teachings demonstrate how members incorporate the lessons into daily life, fostering personal growth and community service. Finally, in the conclusion, we tie everything together, emphasizing the ongoing relevance of Masonry and its pursuit of enlightenment. Throughout this presentation, our goal is to understand how these elements collectively contribute to the broader theme of spiritual and moral awakening. Let's explore how applying Masonic principles can truly impact our lives and communities. First, on personal growth and development, Masonic teachings encourage us to engage in self-reflection, to constantly evaluate ourselves, and to uphold moral integrity. This process fosters continuous learning, pushing us to seek knowledge and apply ethical principles in everyday life. It's about becoming the best version of ourselves. Next, when we talk about building strong communities, the focus shifts to ethical leadership. Masonic teachings emphasize the importance of mutual support and collaboration. By fostering these qualities, we create resilient communities that thrive on shared values and collective growth. It's about leading with integrity and inspiring others to do the same. And finally, ethics are at the core of all of this. Masonic principles highlight integrity and accountability, which are vital for ethical leadership. When leaders demonstrate trustworthiness and responsibility, they inspire others and help maintain a strong, sustainable community. All of these points connect back to our overall theme of personal and collective development, showing how Masonic principles serve as a guiding light for building better individuals and better communities. Now, let's explore how Freemasonry extends beyond the lodge and influences our daily lives. Freemasonry's core principles, integrity, charity, and brotherhood, aren't just ideals we hold. They actively guide us to build stronger communities and to act ethically in our everyday interactions. These values encourage personal growth and contribute to the overall well-being of society. Moving into the workplace, you'll notice that Masonic values like integrity, teamwork, and leadership help shape a positive and respectful environment. When these principles are embraced, they foster a culture where individuals can thrive, make ethical decisions, and support one another, ultimately benefiting both the organization and personal development. Finally, engaging with non-Masons is also a vital aspect. Our teachings promote empathy, integrity, and service, values that naturally extend beyond the lodge. By connecting with others through community service, meaningful dialogue, and shared moral principles, we can foster understanding and build bridges with those outside our immediate circle. All these ways show that Freemasonry's influence reaches far beyond the lodge walls, shaping how we interact in society, work, and community life, reinforcing the overarching theme of living by our principles every day. Let's take a moment to look at the contents of this presentation. We'll start with an introduction to Masonry, exploring its origins and foundational principles. Then, we'll delve into the mysticism of Masonry, which highlights its spiritual and esoteric aspects. Moving on, we'll discuss the key to immortality, a concept often associated with the enduring nature of Masonic teachings and legacy. Next, we'll examine Masonic theology, understanding its philosophical and spiritual beliefs. We'll also look at some important historical figures in Masonry, illustrating how their contributions shaped the movement. Then, we'll consider modern Masonry, reflecting on how the principles are applied today. After that, we'll explore the practical applications of Masonic teachings in everyday life, showing their relevance and impact. Finally, we'll wrap up with a conclusion that ties everything together, emphasizing the overall significance of Masonry and its teachings. Throughout this journey, we'll see how each part connects to the broader theme of personal growth, moral development, and the pursuit of truth. Reflecting on the lost word, we see that it's more than just a symbol. It represents humanity's ongoing quest for deeper meaning in life. This search guides us towards self-discovery and spiritual enlightenment, helping us understand ourselves and our place in the universe. Ultimately, it points us toward the key to immortality and transcendence, which is not simply about living forever, but about achieving a higher state of existence through understanding and growth. The importance of this search lies in the idea that true immortality isn't just about physical life, but about the inner journey, self-discovery, personal development, and the meaningful connections we build along the way. Masonry teaches us that these principles are vital to our spiritual evolution and to uncovering that elusive, lost word. On a personal level, reflecting on this reminds us that the pursuit of deeper understanding is a continuous process. It's not something we ever fully complete. It's an ongoing journey that enriches our lives, broadens our perspectives, and brings us closer to that sense of transcendence. And this journey of discovery is at the heart of Masonry. It's about striving for knowledge, forging bonds with others, and always seeking to grow spiritually. In doing so, we move closer to that ultimate goal, an understanding that elevates us beyond the physical and touches the eternal. Today, I want to talk about embracing Masonic ideals and how they play a crucial role in shaping our society. At the core of this is the idea that knowledge is power. It empowers both individuals and communities, leading us toward enlightenment, better ethical decisions, and personal growth. When we embrace these ideals, we open ourselves to the pursuit of wisdom, which can indeed unlock pathways to what we might call immortality, deeper understanding of ourselves and the universe around us. One key aspect of this is lifelong learning. By committing to continuous growth and curiosity, we foster not only our personal development, but also spiritual enlightenment. This ongoing quest for knowledge and insight is essential if we want to truly grasp the mysteries of existence and achieve a higher state of being. Finally, embracing Masonic ideals encourages us to build a more enlightened world, one founded on unity, compassion, and ethical behavior. When we act with understanding and mutual respect, we lay the groundwork for a society that values wisdom and kindness. Ultimately, these principles help us move toward a future where everyone can thrive in harmony, guided by shared ideals of enlightenment and moral integrity. Thank you so much for your attention. I hope you found this overview of the Masonic audiobook library insightful and inspiring. If you have any questions or want to explore further, please feel free to reach out. Thanks again for your time and interest.